Now, Aunt Nancy says, there comes a time when a woman doesn't need to raise her voice. Her silence rings louder than thunder. After the week of no's, after the week of correction, after the wife reclaimed her warmth and then withdrew it again, the Rooster Man found himself living in a house with two winds. One wind was cold, the part of the home where she moved like a shadow, soft and silent, tending only to herself, her child, her peace. The other wind was warm, the fire she still tended in the mornings, not for him, but for the rhythm of the house, because that rhythm belonged to her, not him. The Rooster Man noticed the difference immediately. When she used to speak, she softened the edges of the home. Now she walked with purpose, with boundaries, with the stillness of a woman who had remembered herself. The children felt it. The ancestors felt it. Even the spider on Aunt Nancy's ledge felt it. But the Rooster Man? He only felt fear. Not the fear of a blow, but the fear of losing something he finally realized he never fully deserved. He hovered around her. He watched her hands. He watched her mouth for words that didn't come. He watched the door, as if expecting it to open by itself and take her away. But every time he tried to speak, she said, no. No to comfort, no to explanation, no to the old patterns. She was calm, soft-spoken, unmoved. Aunt Nancy leaned on her stone ledge outside the window and whispered to her spider, he ain't used to a woman who doesn't bend. Now he sees what a straight spine really looks like. And the house waited, not for his next move, but for hers. One evening, the Rooster Man tried to reclaim his voice. He puffed out his chest. He lifted his chin. He summoned his pride like old armor. He crowed, not loudly, not boldly, but the way a man crows when he is trying to convince himself he still matters. The wife did not look up. She stirred her pot of herbs with slow, deliberate circles. Her silence made the crow echo back at him. For the first time in his life, the sound of his own voice embarrassed him. Outside, Aunt Nancy raised an eyebrow. Mm-hmm. Pride don't taste so good when it has to be swallowed. The Rooster Man tried again the next morning, this time with tenderness, attempting to speak her language. Wife, tell me what you need. But she had reached a deeper truth. Don't tell me what I need. Become a man who can perceive it. So she answered with a soft, unshakable no. Not cruel, not angry, final. The ancestors leaned in close that day. A knocking began in his spirit. He remembered the warmth he'd lost twice. He remembered how easily she had withdrawn it. He remembered her calm power the night she refused to bend. His chest tightened. His crow broke. He sought the children's laughter, but found they now gravitated toward her. He sought the glow of the hearth, but found it warmed her first. He sought her gaze, but found she only offered it when she chose. Not avoidance, not punishment, sovereignty. And sovereignty is a language most men never learn until they lose the one woman willing to teach them. Aunt Nancy tapped the stone again. This one, ooh, he learned in the long way. But the lesson had only begun. There comes a moment, Aunt Nancy say, when a woman stops warning a man she is leaving. She simply rearranges herself. That moment arrived the next night. The Rooster Man went looking for her, first in the kitchen, then by the hearth, then near the window. He found her packing a small basket, a book, a shawl, a bowl of herbs, a quiet. Nothing dramatic, nothing confrontational, just preparation. His heart cracked. Where are you going? She didn't answer. She folded her shawl neatly. She lit a small lamp and placed it in the basket. The Rooster Man felt panic rise in him like water in a well. Wife, please, talk to me. She looked at him then, not with anger, not with softness, with clarity. You want my warmth, she said quietly, but you do not want to become a man who can hold it. Aunt Nancy nodded from the window ledge. There it is, the truth that takes a man's breath before it gives him wisdom. The Rooster Man sank to his knees. Teach me, he whispered. Tell me how not to lose you. But she shook her head. I have taught. You have heard nothing. She stepped past him. She wasn't leaving forever. She wasn't threatening separation. She was stepping out of the role of his mother, his emotional caretaker, his fire keeper, his compass. And suddenly he saw it. Every time she warmed the home, every time she soothed his anger, every time she adapted herself to his noise, she had been bending. And now? She didn't bend. She didn't break. She simply reclaimed the space where her spirit could breathe. The Rooster Man felt the shift like an earthquake, not because she walked away from him that evening, but because she walked toward herself. Aunt Nancy whispered, "Mm-hmm." The next story, that's when he learns what loss really feel like. And the snow outside continued to fall, softly covering the tracks of a woman who no longer needed to explain herself.